together, which is always great fun because then you can truly see how they're gauging up against each other. But right now, we need to see how these two teams gauge up against each other. It's Falcons in the blue, Twisted Minds in the orange.
We are finally underway. It seems as if that small controller tech issue we had has all dried over. Onto the pitch we go. Team Falcons being the side to look to establish control, as they always do so. They just seem to win everything. And, you know, Twisted Minds here to give them a good run for their money.
I mean, fair credit there for Ahmed. He's definitely put a lot of boost in his car if he's been able to go down the shops and get a new controller within, was it 10 minutes? Damn.
It was quick.
Yeah.
It was speedy work from them. And Falcons, oh my goodness, looking to make speedy work of an opening goal here as well. That's a nice pre-jump from O'Khalid just to keep that attack going, but Zazonix immediately on the counter.
Yeah, looking for creative angles here, Falcons, but Twisted Minds with a couple of nice setups. The drop just wide of net. The follow-through from Zazonix not being able to meet the target, Ahmed. Looking for a pass out for TRK, even a bump on top, but not going to be able to find it. AMS going to be removed from the equation as Zazonix. Simple shot towards net. Needed to really set that up for Talon behind.
Yeah, and that looks like it might just roll in, actually, Ahmad. I saw he had a brief look at net courtesy of this opening bit of space in the defense, but Twisted Minds, they took one look at Falcons. They thought, all right, there's 3 players at the back. We can pretty much just attack. It's as simple as that. No such luck.
Jigsaw goal explosion as well. Maybe a sign of what to come. Is it going to be a scary horror fest for Twisted Minds, or, well, who knows? Maybe Falcons is just fan of the Saw films.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
I'm not sure any reenactments from that film would be particularly what we're looking to see on the field, but there's been already some disruptions courtesy of the demos and the bump games. The back half of the Falcons end primarily, as TRK does dive underneath one. That's a awkward little chip up from Salam and almost causes a chance for Falcons there.
Oh, good response there coming through from O'Khalid, but he is straight back on into that Falcons half. Twisted Minds with good midfield control here as Talon's blocked out by Ahmed. What a save that was. And perfectly put down towards the corner, but no one else from Falcons being able to chase on it. It's giving Twisted Minds a lot of control over this ball.
Definitely so, and they're straight back on the attack as Ahmad. Ooh, it was a difficult touch to make, but he's found some freedom over on the right-hand side of the field. It's going to be Ams now to chip this one high. Loads of boost in the tank for the air dribble as well, but Falcons, their shape is certainly not to be messed about with.
Good block out by Talon, but O'Khalid going to be able to follow on through as that third man, keeping things under control for Falcons. But they are struggling on that midfield line to keep up the pressure. Twisted Minds doing a great job to manage this, but O'Khalid in the air is a scary old threat, looking for a second touch. Ahmed into the corner, keeping the pressure up from Falcons, waiting for opportunities to arise. 38 boost, not going to be able to beat AMS to the ball. So this is back into the Falcons half.
It is for now, and we saw in that previous series how well Rule 1, in fact, were able to keep that boost game under control, just absolutely starving out Vision. Falcons maybe going for a similar sort of style, just a war of attrition at the moment. If they can keep that attacking rotation going on, surely at some point they're going to find some cracks.
Look towards the boost numbers and you'll see neither sides were really struggling for this one. It was just Falcons waiting for a solid shot, no one back home. And well, this is way too easy for O'Khalid. You know he's going to jump for that one.
And you know he's going to score every time he does as well. It's just one of those moments where if you're in Twisted Mind's position, you just have to hang up the sticks for maybe 3 to 4 seconds and just reflect. Just think about what could have been, because there isn't much you could have.
Well, there was an open path towards net, and Twisted Minds cannot afford that. It is a heavy cost, but it also means that Twisted Minds are having to continuously put one of their resources, one of their players, towards that net. It is such a heavy cost. It's stopping them from the build-up. That's why they can only hold on to the midfield line, but they can't push onto the net really any more than that.
And that was a really awkward touch from Okada, which could have been one for Twisted Minds, but still Falcons had each other's backs there to really see away that danger as O'Khalid drops this one down. TRK to follow forwards, but Zazonix at the back line's very comfortable for them, and just, well, Falcon's very comfortable at the moment. It's showing as another shot finds its way through, saved away there by Ams.
Nice touch off towards the side, O'Khalid. Oh, leaving it for Ahmed.
Oh my
TRK can't finish. A chance for the runaway from Twisted Minds. O'Khalid back in the corner. This is going to be a great push up from Twisted Minds, but they got to get the interception. Unfortunately, AMS just a little bit wide on the target. Set up for TRK, keeping it to the floor, trying to show off some fancy footwork. The setup is beautiful, but what a save that was from AMS.
What is going on? There's been about 3 posts in the span of maybe 30 seconds as straight back on the counter are Twisted Minds, but simply not much time left on the clock. If they're to get one opportunity, that would almost be a bonus at the moment, as Falcons are simply having none of it. They have extended that lead. It's 3-0 in game 1.
And it's another long shot runaway here. Just no one home from Twisted Minds. I said it earlier, they're having to put so much into the defense that when they saw that chance to strike, they swarm at it. It looks good, but it leaves them so fragile at the back.
It absolutely does. And Team Falcons, this is exactly the sort of start that we expected to see from them, really. It's maybe been one mistake from Falcons which went unpunished, courtesy of just how strongly Falcons were able to recover, and it was as simple as that. But something you alluded to earlier, Bacon, Twisted Minds cannot afford to be making even the smallest of mistakes. We saw what happens if you give Falcons even an inch of space, and that is the result we have in front of us.
Falcons with I don't want to say dominant, but a very handsome 3-0 win. Twisted Minds' playstyle here, Psycho, I think works. You can see it is doing damage. It halts Falcons, but it's just not good enough for them to build up into their own attacks because they have to full send, and it is very risky for that final 10% of their game.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was reflected by the first goal we saw in this series. That just open opportunity, the open lane for Falcons on the counter-attack, and Twisted Minds, they saw that sort of defensive nature of Falcons. They thought, you know what, let's throw ourselves at this play. And just looking back at the replay as well, the second goal almost very similar as well. Just that pinch off to the side. Twisted Minds caught sleeping with those challenges.
Getting into game number 2 then, what do we want to see from Twisted Minds? Like, because as I just said, I think their game plan is a solid one, but how do you adjust it on up? Because right now, all I can simply say is just don't full send it, but then how are they going to get goals, right?
Yeah, that's the awkward dilemma for any team, really. If you find yourself in a situation where you're simply not creating opportunities, the obvious answer is, well, let's just throw ourselves harder at the play. But often that's the wrong answer, especially if you've got Team Falcons staring you down as well. They love when teams try to do that to them because they are just so punishing on the counter, so controlling. The 1v1 capabilities of each of the players on this Falcon side, I mean, we all know it. It's ridiculous.
Mix that with the flavor of pace that they have, and, well, they can be so dominant there with those quick counters. AMS already trying to start something up, though. This is... I thought for a moment it was going to happen again. Luckily, it's wide of target.
Not just yet, not just yet. We're going to have to wait maybe a couple more seconds because Falcons, they just seem to score those out of nothing. This is an opportunity, though, for Talum, who's worked this one to the backboard, and he squished it through. Gorgeous work from that player, and TRK, try as he might to see that ball away, has thrown it straight into the hands of this player.
Talum, he saw the opportunity, got the flip reset, sent it towards the backboard, and then bear hugged the ball, saying, nah, this is going in.
In it was, but now they have a lead to keep, and that's a whole different beast altogether, as Falcons already looking to make a chance. Ahmad sees this one over to the corner. He's got that 100 boost crucially as well to maybe keep this attack going for those extra couple of seconds.
MS and Sonics double committing to this one positionally. That pinch not looking too good for Twisted Minds. They're forced into the rim half. Set up there for a Khalid. Save does come on through. AMS not going to be able to get a touch on that as Ahmed. Oh, no. AMS sending it back towards the rest of the squad. They've got to be careful. Twisted Minds just trying to pounce on every opportunity they can. Trying to force these 50-50s. But realistically, that's going to be what the Falcons want. Was called.
Yep.
No idea why, to be honest.
We'll find out very sure, I'm sure, Bacon. But yeah. That was interesting, the way that start of the game shaped itself up. And I thought Zazonix was really listening to you during our quick break, Bacon, where you said, you know what, let's just try and play a bit slower. Let's not throw everything at the play. I saw Zazonix hovering on that wall for about 5 seconds, and I thought maybe they'd be listening to the commentary for their words of advice, but clearly that's not the case, and we just needed a pause instead.
So Falcons with tech issues. Has Armin gone and spilled even more drink on his controllers? That's it. We're gonna have to go to a 10-minute break so he can just pop down the shops again, I wonder.
Hopefully not the case, but you never know. You never know. Tech issues, they are present, and maybe the tactical spillage from Team Falcons wasn't on their cards in terms of their game plan, Bacon.
Right, here we go. New business idea. We're keeping this to ourselves, Psycho. Gamer straws. I think that's what's needed.
Gamer straws.
Gamer straws.
I'm going to need you to pitch this to me very convincingly, okay?
Right.
So what's the difference between the gamer straw and the traditional straw?
We put a camo decal on the outside of the straw, so it's not just like plastic. It's got to be paper these days, right? So it's not just paper, like white paper, or when you see in shops you get like the stripes. No, we just make them camo. That's it.
Camo. So invisible. So the gamers don't know where the straws are, so that they go and make another spillage.
No
we
one
have a
will
third
know.
pause of the series,
No.
Bacon.
You can see your own camo because you know what your camo looks like, but no one else can tell when you're taking a sip. Like.
Okay, I quite like that.
You throw them off. They don't know that you're truly hydrated.
You've convinced me more. I might have to be joining you on that business venture, but maybe left for another time, sadly, Bacon. But this initial phase of the game so far, I think it's fair to say it did go in Twisted Mind's direction, albeit we've only seen maybe a minute of play. We saw that awkward pinch it was for Twisted Minds, which almost gave Falcons that free hit at the corner and the free pounce in the midfield. But bar that, Team Falcons still didn't make any opportunities in that second game so far to convince us of what they really can do so far.
So it's also that case of game one we don't want to take too much away from, because players are still getting warmed up, they're getting used to each other's teams. So whilst we're saying that it's great for Twisted Minds to come out of the gates absolutely looking like they can hold back Falcons haven't revved up those engines to 100% yet. They're still, I wouldn't say idling, but they're in like third, fourth gear. They haven't really got to that fifth or sixth gear. They haven't got to that full speed just yet. So Falcons playing the counter game is probably more them trying to see how Twisted Minds are playing. So you're getting into these whole mind games of, do you full send it at the start? Do you wait to see how your position are playing? And game two is always where we really look at it. And Twisted Minds adapting their playstyle, where it sounds silly, but they're going like 70% full send in their plays. Like they're going into more 50-50s. They're not really keeping a player at the back, but they're still keeping that third man a little bit further back, at about the halfway mark, on the halfway line, maybe that 25%, quarter way line. So they're not keeping them, stored back in defense. They're not putting them right on the goal line, but they're allowing them to push up, and they're waiting for those 50-50s to come in Twisted Minds' favors. So that's why we're seeing them get a little bit more aggressive. But Falcons, they can handle that. That's the issue. They're fast enough and they can cover as much ground as needed.
Yeah, they really can. And it's an interesting point you raise about just, shoving that third player a little bit further back. And maybe that's all that's required to put yourself on a good footing. But honestly, it's absolute truth. If you look at any sort of team within the bubble scene and the professional scene even, most teams, their most frequent sort of means of concession really is just that third man, how much they're regressing forwards. And it's such an obvious thing you would think, but maybe just getting caught out on the boost game, maybe traveling from one place to another, leaving that small lane to net is such a common way to concede. We saw it 2 times from Twisted Minds in that opening game, and it's something that they need to definitely look at.
Have had confirmation by Danny Boy, our lovely producer here today, that Ahmed has lost his gamer straw again. That is the issue. And apparently Falcons are going to have to forfeit game 2? No, Blunders, our regional manager, that can't be true. To hopefully get confirmation there, because I don't want to spend, misinformation, wait for full confirmation there.
Yeah.
The third man in Rocket League is actually the most important player. That's why you'll quite often see them be the captain as well, is because they have to make they have to dictate the game. They're the ones that have to have the quickest reactions to not mechanical plays, but actually coming through with your thought process. They have to think the fastest, because they have to decide, is this play going to be a success in front of them? Yes, then I can push up, and the third man is always the one that cleans up the spills in front of net. Or is this going to be a failure? Thus, I need to play defensive. And they've got to change between being attacking and defensive so quickly, and it's normally you're preemptively thinking about that before it even happens. So the third man is probably the most important player on any team.
Yeah, I think whenever that question is brought up, that's my exact same response as well. And for these top sides, they're all going to be a third man at some point in the play. But that dedicated player who knows it's their strength to be delivering that sort of consistency, always making those right decisions when it comes to where they're placing themselves on the field, what their headspace is like in terms of the decision making. It's such a crucial thing, and all of those players are often the ones which are referenced the least when it comes to sort of those tier lists of the greatest players in the world. Those who are very much rooted in that ideology of, you know, worst case scenario are often the ones that are overlooked the most, Bacon.
Just quickly asking in the background, so what's happening? Can we get an update?
I do believe we are going to get an update pretty shortly.
Yeah.
I do actually think
Game
our
3
regional manager
now.
has said that Game 3 is going to get started. So
It
whatever
was a
tech issues
forfeit.
have been eating up these plays, this is going to make a massive difference to the series, I think it's fair to say, Bacon, because one game has gone the direction of Twisted Minds in the blink of an eye now.
I've never seen a tech issue result in a forfeit before.
It's the first time for me as well, but that is what the rulebook states. This is fair game, and these are the scenarios in which, you know, you have to abide by it. And Twisted Minds, they've given themselves an opportunity. 3 games still left to be pushed in their direction, I think it's fair to say, but Falcons, it's going to be something that they just breeze past, given what we know that their headspace should be looking like.
Apparently it was down to a DQ timer, so they couldn't fix the issue. Or sorry, it's most likely down to that, sorry. Naturally, we don't want to hold up games too much, like tech issue. If it's like restarting the server, of course, you've got to restart the server. But if it's down to a singular player taking too long, because of course we've got a show to run here, you know, there's a whole tournament going on. Maybe it's just down to, I don't know. We're waiting for clarity, folks at home, but right now things are looking good. We're in game 3 and minutes already gone by, and Twisted Minds are ramped up. This could be Twisted Minds' day if they can keep up this pace.
And imagine the storylines and sort of just, you know, the news outlets out on Twitter if Twisted Minds were actually to make this run through to the grand finals, and it would be sort of on their merit as well. Still 3 games required for them, of course, and they did show us a really good start to what was originally game 2 before that pause as well, and honestly, they looked the stronger side.
Just had confirmation it was down to the DQ timer for Falcons, so who knows? They have had a run that has been plagued with forfeits, and now they have consumed a forfeit themselves. Oakley keeping up the pressure, but Twisted Minds to deny. Keep it up. We've got an underdog story alive.
We really do, and Zonix is going to try and see this one out of his own back half. Once again, that player required to make that backboard touch, and over on the opposite end is Ams, just trying to slow play this one, like you've been suggesting, Bacon, trying to bait forwards those Falcons players before he makes his next move.
I know we might get a couple of comments in Twitch chat about biased casters here for Twisted Minds, but Falcons have had it too good for too long. They have been too dominant. A mix-up here would be extraordinary, but it's all got to come off the back of hard work from Twisted Minds, and Falcons are not going to give it up easy, of course.
Absolutely not, and you can already see Falcons establishing some level of comfortability right now as they try to enter that Twisted Minds half convincingly to craft an attack of their own, as that ball's a little bit awkward, but Zonix at the back, he's got options. He hoops this one's long, and he's found Ams as well. Over to the backboard, though, straight back to Falcon strength.
Zonix being into that by Khalid. Again, simple, straightforward shots towards net. Aren't going to worry Twisted Minds too much. They have changed their formation up a little bit, so they're not full sending. They do have that third player back quite often, Talon. It's dangerous in front and net straight out towards Khalid, and they've got to be careful with that Twisted Minds.
They absolutely do, as that could damage their chances at any given moment. And Talon in the corner settles this ball down. Khalid straight dashing into that one. TRK to follow up as well, straight back central. And Ams and Talam just working forwards in unison to see that one clear.
Ams again on that ball, up across the wall. Mid towards center. This is prime for the taking. Zizonix just going to spike that on down, but TRK was ready for it, wanting to pop that behind. Demo comes on out. And well, Twisted Minds on a quick counter. Can they wrap this round to the center? Oh, Khalid! I mean, this isn't rugby, buddy. You can't do that.
Yeah, he absolutely shouldn't be allowed to get away with what just happened. He just scooped him up on the side and said, goodbye to your chances. It was pretty ugly work, but work that was done well by Falcons, as it often is. Twisted Minds, a great pass over to the other side as they try to keep this attack running.
Looking at Twisted Minds as well, they've got to be careful. They need more whip to their play. They're stacking up on one side of the pitch way too often, and it has been punished by TRK.
It really has, and this one was an unfortunate concession for Twisted Minds. I think Zazonix was just in two minds. Do I play it slow? Do I wait for that shot? Bait it out to get possession long term, and I think he just made the wrong call. Should have gone up there.
Again, I said it just a second ago about they're all stuck on one side, and they had to transfer on over, going for boost at the same time, and it was just way too much indecision. You could see as well they thought that the ball would be allowed to just bounce into the corner by Falcons, and then they would hold up that midfield line. That didn't happen. Falcons were full sending, and it's that kind of change up in gameplay from the Falcons that really hurt Twisted Minds. There 15 seconds left to go. Twisted Minds, it's now or never, guys.
It really is, and this is that last chance you spoke of as Talon rattled the crossbar. Maybe one more if this is going to be a whiff on the half of Falcons, which is such an unlikely occurrence, and it already seems as if Falcons, the job is done for them. 2-1 is our series score.
Falcons, tech issues? It don't look like it, does it? I mean, 1-0 is a lot closer than the 3-0 from game one, but it's 1-0 Falcons, don't worry. I've just looked at that and questioned myself. Yeah, something went wrong. I think we might be getting a new server or something, because that normally just makes the points go squiffy. But nonetheless, Twisted Minds have got a great game plan going on today, and it's just Falcons, yo. Like, they're too good.
That's the story of the series, isn't it? If we could condense it down to just one sentence, it's just Falcons, yo. I think that'd be poetic. I think you should put it on your wall, maybe a poster. But honestly, Falcons, that is what they are all about. They like winning, and even when their biggest setback imaginable comes to really hurt their chances, what do they think of it? Absolutely nothing.
That one single goal as well, it's more of a mistake from Twisted Minds, and it's one that you can't see ahead of time. Like I said, being all caught basically in a quarter of the pitch. You look at where all the players were. One was challenging the ball up there, one was on the ground below trying to steal away a 100, and then the other was back on the 100 pad on that midfield line. So by all, aspects of the game, they were in a quarter of the pitch. They didn't have enough covered. That's why I said instantly, they need more width to the game. Falcons saw that, threw it to the opposite side of the pitch, and then ran with it. We know they're great on the counters, and they punished hard there.
They really did, but moving forwards to this game for Twisted Minds are going to be offered one of those extra opportunities maybe to resolve some of those small issues which have been plaguing them in that game one and in this game 3 as well that just went by. It's those tiny little margins for errors which are really harming an otherwise very solid side at the moment.
With Talon keeping this slow across the wall, waiting for that chance, actually leaving the ball. I don't know if that was meant to be a fake, but no one else from Twisted Minds was stepping up for it. This is a little bit slow and awkward actually for Twisted Minds. I don't know what's essentially going on, and you don't need Talon to step up there for the double commit.
Yeah, you really don't. It's just seemingly a team of desperation when those double commits and those little squeezes of positional, really establishment from Twisted Minds are damaging them, and they need to resolve that like we've been saying as Falcons try to work out this back corner immediately, countered by Talam, and that one's lofted high for Ahmad. He's got up so quickly though, and that attack is completely negated. Maybe a chance for Falcons opening up. What a touch to the backboard that is, but he needs more than that. Khalid drops it low, and Twisted Minds still in the game. It
was a little bit scrambled, but Twisted Minds weather that storm. Zazonix with runaway. Nice little leave there to send it down towards the corner. You got Ams there. wanting to dislodge players, but doesn't find anyone. Talon in the back lines, acting as a third this time around. Needs a route on out. That ball's going to be left towards Ams in the center, up into the sky, down towards the center, and no one from Twisted Minds coming to challenge that on the midfield line. It's a runaway for Falcons being able to take control, but no, they're just throwing it back. They're starved to boost. TRK's the only one there. Twisted Minds is now or never, but Okalid, the boostless warrior, is going to save the day.
Absolutely so, and on the other end, Twisted Minds trying to keep this control, but a loose touch is going to spell some certain disaster for a chance for Falcons. Fortunately, that bounce down was not what they were anticipating, and as this ball just lurks in the midfield space, it's really just a neutral game for anyone's picking, and Twisted Minds looking to be the forefront of that.
The RK Sazonix one-on-one. Sazonix does well to also get the 100 there. Ams pushing us back towards the center, but again, it's such loose control by both sides, to be fair.
It really is, and you can just see how often this ball is just floating around in this midfield territory. As Exhibit A, one player goes flying, this ball's high, this one's actually nudged above the final defender. That was the noise of the Falcons defender as he whizzed on by. It's miracle work from Twisted Minds.
Sure. Weirdness breeds weirdness, dude. Like, everyone's played that game where no one can hit the ball and it will keep going for the whole game. It doesn't just instantly reset. It might reset off of the kickoff. Fair. But that was just such an odd, dare I say, 2 minutes from both sides. And hopefully now we'll fix up. But, I mean, Twisted Minds, they welcome the madness, it seems.
They really do, and you know, that sort of 2 minutes like you referenced of just loose midfield play was actually going in favour of Twisted Minds, weirdly enough, as they seem to be the team with that little extra hunger to actually push forwards in the ranks, whereas Falcons, the sort of counter-attacking, solid play style of worst-case decision-making, if you like, is actually not doing them too much good right now.
Falcons do play better at clean, concise Rocket League, it's got to be said, because they rely so heavily on predictions. So when you can't predict if your opponents are even going to touch the ball, I guess it does go against them.
Maybe so, as this one in the corner is found by TRK. Tried to find Okalid. That one's over the bar and easy to deal with, but is there that support to follow up? AMS just diving forwards, and another shot. Tried to be pushed on forwards, no boost, an infield ball. Surely it is. Okalid straight back in the mixer, a beautiful way to equalise.
Twisted Minds here are playing reactive towards what Falcons were doing, and that's what's hurt them there. I don't mind that last attempt on the save on goal, because they were trying to space out two players to cover as much of the net as possible. But at the end of the day, they just didn't have someone challenging. It allowed Falcons the freedom to set that up.
So much freedom did Falcons find in the midfield. This is a double touch chance, but the first touch wayward from Armat. His downfield is Ams, just collecting all of that boost down the side of the field. Zazonix, he's got a chance to transition this one across, but like you said earlier, just sort of bundled up was Twisted Minds. They didn't find an effective escape route there.
I still don't know why they allowed Talon to step on in when Zazonix could have passed it to Talon, and then you'd had that power to clear it downfield towards Ams. It just feels like decisions here, they're not all in the same boat, and it's more a greedy mindset, do I dare say, from Twisted Minds, where they're calling I've got this rather than trying to set up as a squad.
Maybe, and it's the absolute best teams in the world that get that dead right. They're always just sort of thinking about how can we progress forwards as a team, not just on an individual level. How can I impact this, but how can, as a team, we shape ourselves to be in our best running form?
The clear example of that is Gen G at the moment in NA. It's 100% that, and it has found them so much strength to dismantle a region, essentially. But as this ball touches the floor, we've got OT in Game 4.
OT and Twisted Minds. This could be one of their last confident chances to push this series in their favour, as if they do drop this game and going 3-1 down against the Falcons, the odds are so heavily stacked against you. They need to act now.
Twisted Minds struggling on this midfield line to keep control, but it is still on that midfield line. Tan's going to have to go for a second touch. Oh, Zazonix was not ready for it. Loses control. Falcons now trying to scrape this one out. TRK running it downfield, blocked out by Talon.
Great challenge that was, and Zazonix clears this one forwards. There's going to be a follow-up, surely not this time around. Actually, Ams was over on the other side of the field for a brief moment there, as Twisted Minds trying to recollect themselves on the rotation.
They'll freeze up our end. Sorry, folks. We don't know what's actually going on here.
I think we're back on cameras for the time being, Bacon. I think we've just had a small tech issue our end, and that's absolutely fine. As seeing our way into overtime still is anyone's game, Bacon.
Yeah, the feed's just gone on down as our producer Danny tries to get it back on up. I've seen Ben just jump into the call. Don't actually know. For me, I feel like the safe bet is that Falcons will just grind this one out. But Twisted Minds have had opportunities. I've noticed as well that we're not seeing that many demos in this game. We have seen both Falcons and Twisted Mind pull them out, but it's just like random in the midfield demos coming on out. So we'll have to wait and see what the final results are from that game.
Well, Bacon, I'm going to interrupt you very quickly because it does look as if
we've got
our other producer, Ben, has actually booted up this feed. And as much as it might not be available to the stream right now, we are still deep into OT. Falcons looking to continue a push forwards. It's 2 minutes now into OT as Falcons try to keep waddling forwards.
Okay, and I can see Danny has got the feed back on up as well. 2 minutes, 5 seconds into it. Still tied on up. Twisted Minds are bringing their A game today, giving it their all. The issue is they just cannot find that final little piece to the puzzle. Once again, Falcons are on the attack, but it's only found into the corner.
Only into the corner. It's on this counter. That is some beautiful control from Talon to keep this ball going, but simply wasn't good enough to craft anything of their own as a team as AMS loosely chips this one high. Comfortable to deal with once again for Falcons.
Oh, Ahmed. Slow dribble. This is dangerous. You know, Falcons, when they're bringing it on in that close, are a nuisance to deal with. Ahmed once again into the corner. One in the second touch to bring it back under control. 70 boost. A good block on out by Twisted Minds.
Great block it was, and into the corner. Twisted Minds trying to continue some semblance of rampage, but Falcons, they're just eating that pressure up every single time. You think there's a chance, Twisted Minds simply can't squeeze anything through, and Falcons, they know they're in the driver's seat right now. This ball's long.
No.
TRK! It's not even required. The touch wasn't even necessary. Twisted Minds caught out once again.
It's like back in game one, the third time that's happened in this series. And this is just long OTs. You bring back your natural play style, and that's what's happened to Twisted Minds. They've gone too deep there, leaving their back lines open, and Falcons will punish.
Yeah, and it was a good game, that one. Really tightly fought throughout the entire duration of that game. I didn't know who was going to be the side to take it. I don't think Falcons won that game convincingly, which is a massive plus for Twisted Minds coming into this next match. They know that a large majority of the goals they've been conceding have maybe perhaps been unforced mistakes. And honestly, as a team that's trying to reflect back on what you can do to improve, that's a very nice sign, because it's not just your opponent dominating, but you know there is something you can do as well.
I'm sure as a coach, though, you're probably there, like, hating that, you know, because you know that it's not something that you can necessarily change up. Like, it's not your opponent's game plan that's hurting. It's just, you know, stop going that deep. Like, how do they get around this Twisted Minds in this little timeout that we've got here?
I genuinely think their approach in that previous game was almost bang on perfect, bar just those tiny individual mistakes, and we saw that gap opening up just for that defensive clearance to come long. And TRK, I thought that could have been a great play between Falcons, but honestly, that third man just simply didn't exist for Twisted Minds, and it's something that plagued them in game one, like you said earlier as well, Bacon.
It's funny when you look at a series that is pretty much this close, right? I know it's currently sitting 3-1 in favor of the Falcons, but this is a close series. Like, when you're actually watching it, it always feels weird to say that Falcons and Rule 1 are just that much further ahead in this region. Like, Twisted Minds don't technically come into question. Sure, Twisted Minds are the only team apart from Falcons and Rule 1 that have made a grand finals in this region. Like, there's only 3 teams that have done it, but Twisted Minds have only done it once, and it was to take down Rule 1. It's just that Twisted Minds are they've got a game plan that works against well-constructed teams. When you've got other squads in the region that aren't as clean, aren't as, I guess, well-tuned, the predictions, like I said earlier, are a little bit tougher, and thus Twisted Minds can open themselves up. They get a little bit too sparse on the defense.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true. And just looking at the other teams in the region that this Twisted Minds side has been facing across the other regionals, they're not on the level of Rule 1 or Team Falcons. And if you just go under other results that they've had, it's simply not good enough. Twisted Minds, they are against some of the greatest players in the world in Team Falcons, some would say, and that is a wonderful way to kick things off for that team in question. TRK off of this kickoff with a miracle touch here.
Falcons have not had to be this technical throughout this series. They are just playing the nitty-gritty game. They're just playing Rocket League to win. But TRK saw the opportunity and he delivers with that. Oh, that feels bad that Twisted Minds couldn't just instantly... No, not again, Novel. Oh,
Breathe. It's not done just quite yet, but TRK is looking to put a nail in the coffin in what has been just 30 seconds of play. Team Falcons, a 2-goal lead is something that often they run away with and just take it in their strides. As another chance, one defender back, TRK, can he get past him? Not quite, as AMS is there to figure things out.
The pressure is still on from Falcons Okelid this time. And pretty straightforward to net. That save not being pressured, not followed up by Falcons. That's a much bigger question there.
It is, but Falcons, they have this lead. They have that crucial 1-0 in the bag. And as a team that approaches the play in such a manner that they do, that is a massive, massive advantage for them, Bacon.
Another setup. Okay, this is well timed by Talon to be up on the backboard to read it. It will be sent across. Ams needs to get some boost, and there's no 100 there. That just got picked on up. So the macro of the game, mentally mapping out where on the pitch the players are and the boost is not going that great for Twisted Minds right now.
That was a strange little bump forwards. It gave Twisted Minds a chance. It was almost reminiscent of that sort of wheelbarrowing of the player down the field we saw earlier and had a quick joke about, but it didn't do any damage, importantly, as Ams downfield. A nice high touch from Talan to set up his teammate, but that is just a hoof long and possession straight back to the blue side.
Ams has been without boost for ages now. We're talking coming close to 30 seconds. Now, is this to allow the other two to keep their tanks full? Or, I don't know, but it pulls them out of the game for so long.
Yeah, and sometimes just trying to keep that pressure going does just involve floating about in the midfield with absolutely nothing in the tank, because if you blink for even a second, you'll miss it. This one might be missed from Armad, unless
what a
he can
save!
get an extra touch. What a save from Armad.
Says Onyx, that was the Guardian Angel moment there, but still hasn't keep it, delivers it to Talon. Now looking to run it away with a dribble. That's a good force of the 50-50 to send it towards the corner. Ams still on the ball, should be able to maybe find something. No, backs out, wanted to go for 100 boots, doesn't pick it on up, so it's out of the question for this one. Follow up from Okelid, but again, no one for Falcons to be there. They're not looking to pressure for goals here. They're happy to hold on to a 1-0 and just wait for that mistake from Twisted Minds.
Ominous presence that Falcons are putting on right now as another ball heading towards this orange side of the turf is going to establish Falcons' lead at the moment, as long as the possession is in their favour. And a little bit of shenanigans from Twisted Minds to try and keep this play going. It's very, very desperate right now.
Say orange side of the turf. I mean, we're over here on the wastelands. There is no grass. It is just all dead stone and sand. But nonetheless, this series is not dead just yet. And the post!
What?
No!
What? Surely this one's pressed in. It isn't. We're still going. It's still 1-0 Falcons. Twisted Minds, they couldn't convert. And that is going to be the best chance they get all series long.
Heartbreak for the TM fans out there. Twisted Minds are going to be reeling at that one, but there's still 1 minute 20. Twisted Minds can pull it on back. Falcons have shown themselves not to be invincible. Sure, that one game was gifted to Twisted Minds via the forfeit, but nonetheless, they have kept this close. They've gone to OTs, kept it within 1 goal for their games. can they, in this final minute, find another?
Well, for Twisted Minds, fingers crossed, this is that chance. That flick wasn't past the final defender, and Ams was lurking for a bump as well. He was menacing downfield, and on the counter is Armad. It's wide open. The camera is giving us that cinematic effect to watch Falcons potentially push their way through to another grand finals.
I could drop a tear right now. Like, it is that heartbreaking for Twisted Minds. You say the final 10%, 5%, 1%, it don't matter. That final little bit, they're just missing. The rest of their game has been incredible so far. Sometimes it just feels like luck isn't with them. But Falcons, weather it all. 30 seconds. Could this open the door? It does. Twisted Minds are still in the game.
Back in track. Maybe not yet, but Talon has come out with a bit of creative genius there. The Falcons players in two minds. Is he going for that reset? Is he going for the 50? No. He's going low. He's got the job done. 27 seconds left.
Twisted Mind fans, get loud in chat. You got to send them some energy. That's over towards TRK. Blocked down on the 50-50. Okalib with a shot, trying to go for the close post, and it is immaculate.
That is a chef's kiss right there. He had the whole goal to aim at and actually threw it behind to Lamb. You can see him desperately reach and claw at that ball, but sadly, his keeper's mitts were just a little bit too slippery and couldn't get any contact on that.
That is literally the only place that he could have got a goal there. You know that, because the rest of the net was open. It was beckoning for it. But Okalid just thinks on a different plane of existence, and that is just one of the many reasons why Falcons are the best to do it in MENA. Denied a fourth just by the timer. Falcons push on through to the grand finals.
And for Falcons, this is just going to continue their run of domination in the MENA region, pushing their way to another grand finals. They've now won 3 regional events in a row just before this on the trot. And the only one they failed to take was that full open so far in this season so far. Twisted Minds, they gave them a really strong run for their money, but at the end of the day, you cannot count the Falcons out.
You can't count us out bringing you those grand finals. You know, folks at home, that we're going to do it. We're going to have Craftman and Danny Boy returning for that. It's going to be Falcons versus Rule 1 after this break.